Sunday School teacher, I'm glad that you're with us for our time of study and preparation. We are working on the Sunday School lesson for Sunday, November the 4th. The title of this lesson is With Works. And we continue in our series studying the book of James. And we're going to be in James chapter 2, and we're going to begin in verse 14 and work our way through to verse 26. The point of this lesson, what we want to communicate and want our people walking away with at the conclusion of our Sunday School class on Sunday, is that true faith produces visible change. If we're really saved, it's going to show. And so that's why we have the title, With Works. James had run out of patience with Christians who were professing faith in Christ, but were not engaged in performing good works. And so he addresses those who say they're Christians and that that is good enough. He pulled no punches in addressing their misunderstanding of the demands of a genuine faith commitment to Christ. And so let's look at these verses. James chapter 2, beginning in verse 14, and there we're going to see a dead faith. What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if someone claims to have faith but does not have works? Can such faith save them? If a brother or sister is without clothes and lacks daily food, and one of you says to them, "Go in peace, stay warm, be well, be fed," but you don't give them what the body needs, what good is it? In the same way, faith, if it doesn't have works, it is dead by itself. So here we have the argument, verse 18, when he says, but some will say, but some will say, you have faith, I have works. He is beginning to show what a dead faith is. But if you look in verse 14, he says, a person that says they are saved but doesn't act saved, they may not be saved. They say they claim to have faith, but it doesn't show. James provides a real-life example of real faith demonstrated in verses 15 and 16, where he says if someone is without food, without clothes, the example that he provides is another Christian. He says that in verse 15, if the brother or sister is without. So he's talking about a Christian. And we see in verses 15 and 16 that they had lost everything. They did not have clothes and they did not have food. So they had lost everything. And most likely his example was that the reason that they had lost everything is because they were Christians. They were persecuted because they were Christians. They had no clothing. And in this example of a Christian being persecuted, more than likely what happened in his story is that they had lost their jobs because of their faith, and because of that they had no food. They lost their homes because they were Christians, and that's happening even today in other parts of the world where Christians are losing everything they have because of their Christian faith. And so the situation is that these Christians, these fellow church members, have no home, they have no clothes, they have no food, they have nothing. Everything has been taken away from them. And so in response to that, someone comes to them and simply says, "Go in peace." In other words, bless your heart. That's the term that I would say that we would understand. They say, well, bless your heart, and I'll pray for you. But then you do nothing for them. Stay warm, be well, fed, but you don't do anything. Those empty words did no good. Faith that doesn't result in